Look at that. We got face tracking enabled. That's cool. All right, what's up, guys? I thought I would put a video together that I haven't really done before, and I figured it would actually be pretty useful. So shout out to my friend Richard, who actually gave me the idea. But I thought today would be good to talk to you guys about how I started going racing. I've done a lot of Instagram videos on it, but I've never really talked about it here on YouTube. So I thought I would just do a quick video to just go over what I did to get to here and then where I plan on going from here. So a lot of times you hear from people, they always say like, oh, I've been into cars since I was a little kid. I've always wanted to be a race car driver. That was never really the case for me. When I was a kid, I did see the movie Speed Racer, and like most people in my generation, they saw Tron Legacy and immediately fell in love with that as well. So the idea of going fast always appealed to me, but I never was like, oh, I want to be a race car driver. It wasn't until end of high school when I met my friend Ian, who you've seen in a lot of the vlogs. He introduced me to the Long Beach Grand Prix. I had never been to a race before, and that was my first time seeing race cars in person. And that's when I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I am so doing this. I just knew immediately, I was like, I have to find a way to do this. I don't know how, but I'm going to. And you know, him and many of my friends, they laughed at me because they're just like, dude, you're not gonna go racing. Like, it's impossible, it's so expensive, all the reasons that people typically give for why you can't go racing. But I was like, no, I'm gonna find a way to do it because I'm a man of my word. And if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So, like the crazy person I am, I started doing a ton of research, just trying to figure out how to get into it. Where do you start? What do you look for? And the biggest things that came out to me first was NASA, which is the National Auto Sport Association, or National Auto Sporting, yeah, something like that. And then SCCA. Those are the top two ones in America, at least, for amateur racing. I reached out to both series and asked them some questions on how to get in and stuff like that. And both of them actually provided me some really good tips, and they even got me in touch with a few people who were same age as me who were already racing. So I reached out to them. One of them ended up being Austin Barco, which you've seen him in some of the vlogs, and he is someone now that I can say is my business partner for Jumpstart Racing and has helped me a ton in learning how to go racing. So I'm forever grateful to him for all the knowledge he has shared with me, because I could not have done this without him. It's seriously, the information he has given me is what has allowed me to go racing and to get sponsors, which that is a whole part of what I want to talk to you guys about today, is the sponsorship aspect of it, because that is what allowed me to afford to go racing, is pitching to sponsors. So we just launched on our website a sponsor pitch deck that I'm so proud of, because this is exactly what Austin has been using for years and what I started using, that has allowed me to get the sponsors now that are, you see here, that has allowed me to go racing. So I can tell you that this recipe works, and Austin is absolutely a genius for figuring all this out. It's his baby. I'm just stoked to be a part of the journey and have learned so much from him. And we put everything that he has taught me into this deck. So if you guys are interested, go check out jumpstartrg.com, because we've got it on there. We've also got a bunch of new merch and stuff, which I'm really excited about. We got a t-shirt and poster now that's gonna be showcasing our journey to WRL, which has the Circuit of the Americas on there. You can see the flag and the tower from COTA, which is so sick, because that's gonna be the last race of the season, which is so cool. So I'm really excited about that. But sorry for the shameless plug. Back to how I started racing. So while I was still in college and I was still doing all the research, and I started figuring out the stuff about NASA and SCCA, which definitely helped. But I was like, well, I'm still in college. Like, I can't really afford to do that just now. Like, I don't know how that really applies to me just yet. So what I ended up finding was the 24 Hours of Lemons. And for those of you that don't know, my very first video on this channel is about us going to the race out in Road Atlanta, which is really cool. The awesome thing about that series is you just need to find a car for 500 bucks, which now I guess is harder to do than it used to be, but they're still out there, and you can still get a car that's close in price and take some penalty points. You just gotta look at the rules and all that. But the point is, you find a cheap car and you get all the safety equipment needed. So you need a full roll cage, fire suppression, stuff like that. But that's the only money you're investing into it. It's just the safety stuff, which you should always be investing into, because safety. So we found a Ford Focus for 500 bucks that we put a roll cage in, and it helped too that I was able to get my college friends together to make this team, and that reduced the cost, because when you have 6 people all paying for it rather than just one, it makes it a lot easier to do when you're a bunch of broke college kids. So that helped a ton. Plus, the journey of building the car was a ton of fun too, and we learned a lot throughout that process, and it actually helped me later on when I started building up my Focus ST. We'll get to that. So we did all this stuff with the Focus in the Lemon series. That was awesome. We broke the car, as you saw in the video if you watched that one, but it was a great experience, and it's cool because you don't need your competition license. So it's definitely one of the cheapest ways to do it. There's other series like that. There's Lucky Dog, there's Champ Car. So there's lots of series that are like that where you don't need your competition license, and it's a good way to get the experience of racing. But just keep in mind it's not going to be as competitive as the ones that require the competition license. So if you're just starting out, if anything, that's actually perfect. So from there, my Focus ST, which was my daily driver for 4 years, once it no longer was my daily driver because I had my truck, I was then able to start working on the Focus and turning it into a race car. So I totally stripped the interior. I got a roll cage in there, got 6-point harness, all that stuff. And I was getting pretty close to it being fully eligible for racing in. I also started in the HPDE program with NASA, which stands for High Performance Driving Education. And I love that program because it goes from levels 1 to 4. And 1 is exactly where you want to be if you have never been on a racetrack before and you want to get out there, because they'll have an instructor with you the whole time. They'll make sure that you're comfortable going out there. They even swapped places with me. So one of the instructors was actually driving my car for a few laps just so I could see how I'm supposed to position the car on track. Really, really cool experience. And it's perfect for anyone who is trying to get on track and has never done it before, because it's $500 for a weekend and it's absolutely worth it. I drove my car out there, did the whole weekend, and drove it back. If you're able to have a trailer, I would definitely recommend it, but it's absolutely possible to drive out there and drive back without any issues. Once you move up the ranks and you get to HPDE 4, that's when you're then eligible to do the competition school through NASA. At this point, you're probably asking, well, how long does it take to get from levels 1 to 4? And it really just depends on how quickly you're improving and your experience and all that stuff. All right, dude, thanks for ruining the video. All right, we went somewhere where a trash truck is not going to get in the way. So, how long is it going to take you to get through HPDE 1 to 4 if you decide to go that route? Well, it depends. For me, the first time I went out, so when I did HPDE 1, I did 1 day of it. Normally, if you're going to go, I would recommend going both days, Saturday and Sunday. I just had time to do Saturday. And what the instructor told me was, he was like, hey, honestly, you're really close. If you had been here for both days, I definitely would have moved you up to HPDE 2 after 1 weekend. Which I was like, oh, dang, like, that sucks. That was really close. But I think it helped that I've already done a lot of sim racing. I truly think that does apply to real life. But I've done a lot of karting at K1. And even though that is, you know, electric go-karts and the rental karts, whatever you want to say to talk crap about them, doing that enough still is going to help you with developing your racecraft. And everyone's going to be different. So for me, after that 1 day of HPDE 1, there was a lot of time in between that and my next time doing an HPDE event with NASA. I was building up the Focus. I was doing a lot of other stuff, like moving out to Kansas, so that didn't help. But during that time, I was trying to get in track days as much as I could. And there's a lot of open track days that you can do with other series where it might not be with an instructor. Maybe they'll have one. It just depends on who you go through. But I was able to find some track days out in the Kansas City area that was just open and you just go and do your own thing, which was awesome for me to just go out and get some experience. So by the time I went to HPDE 2, I was able to move up to HPDE 3 after that 1 weekend because I think I had enough experience that they were like, okay, we like what we're seeing. You're ready to move up to the next level. Again, it's going to vary based on your experience, based on how well you do, but be honest with your instructors. Tell them your goal. I told them, I was like, hey, I want to go racing as soon as possible. I'm very focused on doing it, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get there. And they're like, all right, we'll help you as much as we can. For some people, I know they spend years just trying to enjoy their time through the HPDE because it allows them to slowly build up their car, because building up the car is expensive. So if you do the HPDE route, you're not required to get all the racing things you need. You can have a fully street capable car and be doing HPDE and not do all the roll cage stuff and all those modifications. So that is one of the things to take into consideration, is it will take you time to move through the ranks, but it's up to you to decide how fast you want to go. If you're determined to get your license as fast as possible like me, then yeah, you probably can move up within a year, you know, within I guess technically 4 weekends if you're really, really consistent and if you're really practicing on the sim and doing track days outside of NASA to help you facilitate that experience. So after all of those track days and after the one with NASA, which then moved me up to level 3, then I was able to get my Formula V. And that was a totally spur of the moment random thing. I was seriously just scrolling Facebook Marketplace. And I think it's really funny that that's how it ended up. But when I was just looking on there and I saw this race car for sale, $8,000 with a spare engine, spare parts, a trailer, so I wouldn't have to pay for a U-Haul trailer or anything like that. And then I started doing more research on the Formula V and what it entails. And running a full season of Formula V is really, really cheap because you're not having to replace your brakes every weekend. You just have to replace it really once per season. The tires last you a whole season. You just need to do like an oil change every other weekend, stuff like that. So it's really nothing crazy. So that's why I decided to go the route with the V instead of the Focus, because I knew that there were still a lot of modifications that I needed to make the Focus not just track ready, but race ready with a fire suppression system and upgraded things like that. So I put the Focus on the back burner and I focused on the Formula V, and that was awesome. The biggest thing that helped me with making this decision was the fact that VARA, the Vintage Auto Racing Association, they allowed me to go racing without my competition license. They saw that I had a lot of track experience, and I actually did a track day in the Formula V with them before I did a race with them. So they felt comfortable letting me start in the back and doing the race, which was huge because everyone else there has a competition license, and this is definitely a way bigger step up than any other type of racing I had done. So if you're looking at it from my perspective, the options were either keep doing more track days with NASA or go racing right away. So I would say most of you would probably be in the same boat as me. Is like, yeah, I want to go racing as fast as possible. Let's go do the racing. And I'm stoked for that because I felt confident in my abilities to go and do it. I felt that I was ready. And on top of that, it was a really big eye-opening experience of like, whoa, like this is what racing is like. And, was I kind of just tossed into it really quickly? Yes. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to everyone, but that was the path that I chose, and I'm happy with it. But, I think it certainly isn't for everyone, and that's something to definitely keep in mind. Most people, I would definitely recommend to just go through the route of going HPD 1 through 4 with NASA, get the experience there, take your time, and then get your license. So for me, if you've watched some of the recent videos, you saw I had a lot of close calls with the Formula V. That had nothing to do with my experience, or it had nothing to do with my lack of experience, but I realized how dangerous of a car the Formula V is. Ultimately, it is a car from the 70s, and I'm really, really pushing it because that's how I am. I'm very competitive and I want to win. And I realized that I shouldn't be in a car from 1978 pushing it to its limits, and especially because it's an open wheel and it is a very, very dangerous car. So it's a lot better for me to be in something that is more modern, a lot safer, and ultimately it's going to be in a more competitive series if I do something with a Focus. So that's why I decided to take a step back from the V. I honestly think I'm probably going to sell that car now, actually, and I'm going back to racing with the Focus. So I went back to NASA and I applied for my competition license with them now that I have my novice license with VARA. They gave me that when I started racing with them. NASA was happy to see that I had a rookie license, but they wanted me to do their competition school before just handing me a NASA license, which is understandable. So I basically skipped HPDE level 4, went back, did the competition school, had a ton of fun, met some awesome people, and it was really, really informative too. So I definitely recommend if you can go to a competition school, you absolutely should. There's a lot of different ones out there. I think this is going to be overall one of the cheapest ways to do it because obviously there's the Skip Barber schools and stuff like that. But those end up costing like $11,000 to $12,000, so it's a little pricey. This was awesome, super, super informative. It was a lot of fun. I think I made a video on that. Now that leaves me where we are now. I have my NASA rookie license. I have my VARA rookie license. I also have an SVRA license because I was going to do some races with them, but now that I'm not going to be racing with the V, I'm not going to be doing that. But so what's the plan now? I want to race with the Focus in NASA and do their sprint races. And after 8 races with NASA, as long as I keep it clean, they'll give me my full license, which is super cool. So I'm very excited for that. We're building up the Focus to do that, but we're also building it up, as you saw in my last video, to do the WRL races, which is the World Racing League. That's going to be super cool because that's endurance racing. Those are 7 to 8 hour races across Saturday and Sunday. So total of 14 to 16 hours of racing in one weekend, which is nuts. That's going to be really cool because that is considered the bridge between amateur and pro racing. So it's going to be a big step up for me, but I'm super, super excited to be doing that because I'm going to have a lot of people around me to help me grow, including Austin there and some other friends that are going to be much more experienced than me. And I can't wait to learn from them, and I can't wait to be racing in the same car as them. So that's going to be super fun. So I hope this helps explain things. I hope this helps you to get on the right track. I definitely recommend you go check out NASA, you go check out SCCA, 24 Hours of Lemons, VARA if you're in the Southern California, Arizona area. There are tons of different options, and that doesn't even scratch the surface. I've done so much research on it, and it absolutely is the greatest thing ever. I love racing so much, and amateur racing is anywhere. You can find it anywhere you are in the States. It's in Canada. I mean, it's everywhere in the world. You're going to find amateur racing, and that is the easiest way to get into it. Doing the next step up from amateur to pro is what I'm still working on. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And obviously, I'm going to share that journey with you guys. So I definitely want you to follow along so I can show you what that is like, because I want to share that. I don't want it to be gatekept like how it is with most people. I want to show you how I'm able to make that transition because I'm determined to find out how to do it. I'm so excited. And I can't thank you guys enough for supporting this channel. We've been growing a lot lately, getting a lot more views, and I truly appreciate your support because this has just been so much fun. And the whole point of all of this is just to share my journey. I'm just taking you along for what I'm doing and what I'm loving. And I love that so many of you are enjoying seeing what I'm doing. So I cannot thank you enough. Go check out jumpstartrg.com. We've got some cool merch on there. We've got the sponsor pitch deck now, which I'm so excited about. We've got one-on-one coaching too. So if you want to talk with me and talk with Austin, we can help you to figure out, maybe you don't know where to go. Maybe you're living in some totally different place than me and you're like, where do I even get started? We'll help you figure that out. Go check out the website. Go join our Discord too. We've got over 300 people in there. We're always talking about racing and what's going on in our lives. I want to share that community and I want to build it and help everyone I can to go racing because it's annoying to me that people gatekeep this. It is the best sport in the world and I don't think that it should be blocked off to anyone. So that's enough of me rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you want me to do more informative videos like this. I've never really done anything like this, but I think it was hopefully worth your time. So let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one.